brightest stars, coming up in our party, running for the House, Thomas. So Thomas, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Chairwoman, and thank you guys for opening up your home. It's very gracious of you. Some of you may know me already. I see some familiar faces. Some of you might not even be in my district and can't vote for me. But we are all facing problems right now that unite us, and I hope that you elect representatives that put your interest first instead of what we have dubbed the Twin Cities DFL interest, which is what that party has become. So right now we have Governor Walz, who has taken this unprecedented authority to unilaterally make decisions without the consent, without a say from the legislature. And we have a DFL-controlled House that has decided to continually give him this authority as we go through now 126 days of Governor Walz's executive authority. It is an honor of a lifetime to run for the State House of Representatives in Minnesota. And the number one thing I am going to keep in mind in my entire tenure in the State House is that we are a part of a co-equal branch of government. Governor Walz and the DFL seem to think that this isn't the case. And every single time that the DFL House decides that the governor can continue to have this executive authority, they are telling each and every one of us that our vote in November doesn't really matter. Our say doesn't matter. And that's a way of them taking our voice away and putting it to the Twin Cities. The slogan for my campaign is "Bring Back the North." Like I said, some of you might not even be in District 3A, but it has been blue since I think 1946 at least. The state representative has been a part of the DFL. But we've seen a transition from a party that says to advocate for the workers to a party that wants to pass one of the highest income taxes in the nation, making us look like we're California or New York, a high corporate tax, a very costly regulatory burden. And I'll be honest, the real reason I decided to run, my grandfather immigrated. He was the first one born in the United States. My great-grandfather immigrated to the United States from Finland, and my grandfather, Albert Manninen, was the first one of us born in District 3A in Lake Capitogama. And I've seen throughout my lifetime friends and family who have had to move out of state, well, sometimes in state, but out of the district, and sometimes out of state, from places their families have been for generations. And they're not doing it because they want to. They're doing it because the Metro-controlled government in St. Paul has passed all of these policies that sound good to Metro elites with their comfortable government jobs. Well, thank you so much. Thank you to Chairwoman Carnahan. Thank you to Cook County Republicans. It's an honor to be here, and it is an honor of a lifetime to be running for the State House of Representatives. Right away, I want to touch on something that the Chairwoman talked about, because it's very important what's going on right now in the legislature. What I'm running to be a part of is a co-equal branch of government. Right now, Governor Walz is on day 126, I believe I have that number right, 126 days of taking authority that he does not have and should not have. Because what this unilateral decision-making by the governor does is it takes away our voice. I've talked with business owners across our community, and some of them fear that they are not going to be able to survive this shutdown. Our area was not hit as hard as the Metro, and even if it was, I do not believe the governor had the power to tell business owners they could not open. This is really damaging, and it's one of the reasons why I decided to run. My slogan of this campaign is "Bring Back the North," and this resonates with many people, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, because I got to see growing up layoffs and business closures, families who had spent 3 generations, whose great-grandparents immigrated to this state, to this district, have to leave, have to move out of state. If they're lucky, move within the state, but out of the district, out of their home that they grew up in, because they couldn't find work. And this is because of years and a slow-moving ball of putting the metro first and leaving behind communities like ours. So I can sit here and tell you all of the plans and policy goals I have. I could talk about lowering the state income tax rate that's one of the highest in the nation, that makes us look like California and New York. I can talk to you about bringing jobs to the district by lowering our high corporate tax rate, alleviating some of the costly regulatory burdens that make it impossible for new businesses to come into this community. And I can talk to you about what I'm going to do to support our fine trades, the timber industry, logging industry, and mining industry. But I think it's all encompassed in Bring Back the North. I think putting this district before the metro is all a representative from this area has to do. And unfortunately, we've seen a representative in this, in the seat right now, vote to continue the governor's powers, to make our voices not heard, and just keep with politics as usual in St. Paul. I'm running to change this, and by engaging the public opinion, going around and talking with voters across our district, a lot of people are finally seeing that this DFL, this current Democratic Party, it's not the Democratic Party of 20, 30 years ago. It is a metro party, and people are finally calling it as it is. So we've received a tremendous amount of support so far. Hopefully you guys will turn up to vote in November. I believe we are going to do this. Otherwise, I would have stayed on the side and done the door knocking, but I felt so compelled by the people in my community that I feel if we all get out and vote, we will send a message to St. Paul, we will send a message across the state and throughout the country that rural areas are not going to allow the domination by large metro areas to control state politics. I want to be your voice. Please visit my website, contact me if you have any questions. I would love to be able to engage with you, and maybe let's learn together, and most importantly, let's bring back the North. Thank you so much for having me, guys.
Can you tell us what your website is?
Yes, thomasfor3a.com. I have business cards with it on there. You can also, if you're on Facebook, we have a Facebook page that we put all of the events. We're going to be putting out some videos with the 2018 gubernatorial candidate, Jeff Johnson, talking about policy. So I have those business cards if anybody wants, but if not, it's thomasfor3a.com.
You'll take them.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Take a big step.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, so Thomas,
Yes.
she mentioned that video that you did, that first video that you did.
Yes.
If you haven't seen it, that is a fantastic video. You did a great job on that.
It was.
Yes, it was a video. It was a video created by my campaign manager, James Doty. The music edit, and it encompasses, because somebody had said this is such a partisan. We don't want this partisanship, this hyper-partisanship. And I said, well, in American politics, in contemporary American politics today, this is Democrats versus Republicans. That's not what this campaign is about. The best compliment I've received is, Tommy, I'm a lifelong Democrat and I'm supporting you. But it's because that people, especially in this community, even if you are a Democrat or an independent, or maybe you've never voted before, you see the regional disparities. You see the Federal CARES Act, for those who don't, maybe haven't heard of this. The federal government gave us funding to help small businesses in our state that were affected because of COVID-19. The legislature made sure that St. Paul, Minneapolis got $300 million of this federal funding, but they played politics. The governor wanted $151 million of miscellaneous spending not connected to the CARES Act, and the DFL shut it down in the House of Representatives and held our communities hostage, held our businesses hostage until they got that extra spending. So, this isn't partisan in the sense it's Republican, Democrat. It's why I think we're going to build a coalition that will put us to victory in November. This is really, we're calling it as it is. This is a Democrat party. It's been focused on solely the metro for about 10, 20 years. And it's about time we reclaim our voice at the Capitol and throughout the state.